Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So, Errol, the True Spence Jr. posted a kind of like a hype up video on his Instagram on Monday. And it was pretty much just like some different clips from his recent workouts in this Spence Ugas camp unification, 3-belt unification, man, huge fight at Cowboy Stadium. It was a beautiful thing to see those moments, those small clips, just so people can kind of get a glimpse on how things are looking in camp. You know, anytime, especially for these past couple of years since the car accident, since the pandemic, since this eye injury, you know, these past couple of years, the fans haven't really gotten an opportunity to see much of Errol the True Spence Jr. So anything that he posts or any video that gets posted of him, especially with him in the gym, you know, putting in that work, something that we've always known Errol Spence for from the beginning of his career, since he first made a name for himself. You know, it's always a beautiful thing to see that, and the fans go crazy every time he posts something like that, man, and rightfully so, because I mean, this is one of the most talented guys in the sport of boxing. This is one of the most skilled guys in the sport of boxing, and I've been on record to say I think it's arguable, but in my opinion, just off of what I've seen and the fighters that I see in the game today, I just think Errol Spence, if not the most complete fighter in the sport of boxing, he's definitely at the very top of that list of the most complete fighters in the sport of boxing. I mean, just does everything fundamentally right. And then on top of that, he got the special effects. It's really intangible. The special abilities is really intangible. It's the mental and it's the heart. You know, but he does very, very small things skillfully and athletically in a ring that a lot of people don't pay attention to, that really separate him from his competition. You know, I think Errol Spence is one of those guys that's capable of doing whatever it takes to get the victory. Sometimes it might look ugly. Sometimes it might look easier than what you thought. Sometimes the outcome might look totally different. The approach he take to the fight might be totally different than what you thought he was going to take. But he does what he needs to do to get the victory, you know, and that's completeness. That's a guy that can make adjustments. That's a guy that can adapt to any style. That's a guy that can impose his will on his opponent and really just do what he need to do, you know what I'm saying, to come out on top. You know, but he posted this clip, man, and this, you know, he's looking in phenomenal shape. I'm talking about Errol Spence is really in the best shape that I've ever seen him, man. And it's no surprise to me, because you got to think about it. After the car accident, man, he came out and he said, look, you know, I got a second chance. I'm doing things different now. You know, and he went on Twitter. He told everybody, he was like, man, look, he really, like, he gave us some shit that he really didn't have to give us. He shedded some light and was very introspective and just kind of let us in on his thoughts and ideas, some shit that some very private and personal things that he really didn't have to speak on. Talked about how, you know, once he got to a certain level, he lost that hunger a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Him being out of the gym for longer periods of time, it just kept increasing and increasing. After, you know, after the Kell Brook fight, or after the Lamont Peterson fight, after the Mikey Garcia fight, it just continued to get worse and worse. You know, instead of staying in shape year round, you know, he was waiting to 6 weeks, you know what I'm saying, to start getting in shape. And before he knew he had a fighter, he'll start waiting 4 weeks before he knew he had a fighter. Then he'll just, when he first get wind that he got a fight, oh, now I'm gonna start getting in shape. He was telling us like this how I was moving in those last, you know, couple of years. I think Errol Spence just got kind of bored with the shit that was going on, because you got to think about it, at that time period, it really wasn't nobody wanting any type of smoke with Errol Spence. Like, he had been chasing Keith Thurman, he had been chasing Danny Garcia, he had been chasing Sean Porter. You know, like I said in the last piece, Mikey Garcia had to step up and fight Earl when nobody else wanted to fight him at that time. Terrence Crawford wasn't even a thing. So I think, maybe he got bored with where he was in the sport, and he kind of, kind of lost the hunger a little bit. But him going through that car accident, man, you could tell that the hunger is back. You could tell that his intentions are pure and on being the best at his craft and really staying steadfast and focused. And ever since he came back from the accident leading up to that Danny Garcia fight, which was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, the Danny Garcia fight was December 2020. He's been in shape ever since then. Like, think about it. He's been consistently in hella shape ever since the lead up to that Danny Garcia fight. Going into the Manny Pacquiao fight, I thought Earl was finna be in. He was looking like he was in the best shape. I thought we was finna see some crazy shit in that fight. I believe that we was about to see Errol Spence put on a clinic versus Manny Pacquiao. But of course, he wasn't able to go out there and do that. But even then, after that, he stayed in shape. He stayed in the lab. You know what I mean? He had to sit out for a little bit. He couldn't spar anything like that. Had to do light activity. But you seen videos of him out there doing light running and shit like that just to stay in shape, because it was only so much he can do after the eye surgery, right? You can just tell that there's a different type of motivation there. He posted in the caption of that clip that he posted, he said, your why has to be bigger than you. You know what I mean? Your reason why you do this shit got to be bigger than you. And like he said, some things just make the story better. This is just a part of the journey. This is just a part of the story, man. And this is going to be something that when we look back on it, is going to make Errol Spence even greater in regard to the journey and what to expect from Errol Spence going forward. Taking little things that you see from that clip, also taking things from what we saw in the lead up to the Manny Pacquiao fight, and just taking everything into consideration. Errol Spence has had so much time to like really mastermind and really like game plan and sharpen up mentally, really sharpen up on his craft. I saw what his intentions were going into the Danny Garcia fight and how he performed. Coming off that layoff, I saw that he was working on different things. I saw that his head movement was a whole hell of a lot better. I always had decent, subtle head movement. Don't do too much extra shit. He move his head when he need to, but in that Danny Garcia fight, I mean, Errol Spence's defense was very good. And I heard him talking about that going into that fight. He said, you're going to see a smarter fighter. You're going to see a more skilled fighter. And that's exactly what I saw. I just saw a complete performance in that Danny Garcia fight. And everything, considering everything, man, I think we're going to get in the next half of his career. He's just about to turn 20. He's just about to turn 32 this month. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to get just an overall more complete fighter, a guy that you'll be able to see that can pretty much do everything in the ring. You're going to see Errol Spence bouncing on his toes a lot more. A lot of people don't understand that if you really haven't been paying attention, if you haven't been watching, if you didn't watch his first pro fight, if you didn't watch the Runner Cruz fight, if you didn't pay attention to the small things in the Mikey Garcia fight, you know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is going to be bouncing on his toes more. He's going to be using a jab in different ways. He's going to be countering more. I know a lot of people, including myself, we love the walk you down Errol Spence, the guy that's just going to walk you down nonstop and punish you and with ultimately trying to stop you. You're going to see that too when it calls for it, but you're going to see more of a complete Errol Spence, which I believe will allow him to get in those positions where walking a guy down is even more effective. You're going to see Errol Spence doing a whole lot more boxing, not no unnecessary wasted movement, because that's never been his thing. That's why he's able to get stronger as the fight go. That's why he's able to throw 1,000 punches in a fight if he so chooses to. That's why he's able to keep a constant jab popping throughout the fight and keep that motor and keep that type of energy up, because he don't waste no punches. Everything is precise, even the movement. The pivot game is crazy. Everything he does is with with intention and with strategy to put himself in the best position to land this shot, or to be able to land this shot and then be able to get out of the way, or to be able to put his opponent in a position where they're vulnerable. Everything Derrick James teaches Errol Spence to do is for a reason. There's no wasted or no bullshit moves or movement or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to continue to see that. You're just going to see it now on a higher level. With him being 32, in boxing, in my opinion, he's a young 32. Yeah, he had the car accident, but didn't suffer any like major physical ailments that would actually affect you in the boxing ring. Had the freak accident with the eye. You know what I'm saying? Something that of course, that's something that we still have to see what it'll look like later on. But I mean, he's been sparring. He says that the eyes and everything is good. So I got to take the brother word for it. And until anything else happens, I'm taking it as that the eye is everything is good. You know what I mean? So outside of that, inside the ring, he hasn't taken a whole lot of punishment. And a freak accident outside the ring where there hasn't been any major lasting effects, on your body that could impede your ability to fight or anything like that, or defend yourself. That's totally different from actually taking real punishment in the ring. And Errol Spence simply just hasn't taken a whole lot of punishment in the ring. And he's had this time off, which I think will be to a benefit to Errol Spence. I think that'll actually help him, not only in all the other ways that I just spoke about, with increasing his hunger and, motherfucker want to get in there and scratch and just go crazy. Outside of that, I think it's going to be helpful to his body, man. It allow him to get in shape healthy. You know what I'm saying? It allowed him to really, get with Declan Walsh, with Fight to Be Fit, man, who I think is doing a wonderful job with Errol Spence's strength and conditioning, and also nutritionist as well, just making sure that he eating right, just keeping him in the best shape possible. I think he's going to go into this second half of his career, man. I think, Errol Spence is going to be live, strong, youthful, very much so in his prime. In my opinion, I think Errol Spence's prime really is starting now. You know what I'm saying? I think Errol Spence Jr.'s prime is starting now. These last couple of fights at 147, and then those first 3 to 5 fights at 154, if he can, continue to fight, if he can fight 2 to 3 times a year in these next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see Errol Spence in his prime, and you're going to see the most complete Errol Spence that you ever seen. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm very excited just to see how this shit unfold, man. And we're going to continue to build this Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas fight. You know what I mean? April 16th. It's March now. We about a month and a half away. It's going down. It's going down. So I'm excited to see this version of Errol Spence. I know all y'all excited, especially with that clip, with that highlight clip, man. It was a beautiful thing just to see the brother in there working. And another thing I want to say here, you notice everybody go crazy when some shit like that about Errol Spence come out, because he don't be doing no talking. No crazy shit, no talking, no extra bullshit, just work. Just work. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. What did you think about, the film that you seen? It wasn't a whole lot, but it was just enough for you to see, like, the different shit bruh working on. I'm talking about bruh leaning off the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Countering, using the jab to throw a motherfucking hand out the way, then coming behind that bitch with another jab. You dig what I'm saying? Going crazy. Like little shit like that. You feel me? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.